Oh my goodness, man. Miami, you've got to stop with the heartbreaks, man. I felt like I was going to have a heart attack watching the end of that game between the Miami Dolphins and the Chicago Bears. That is 3 times that these games have came down to the wire for Miami. But luckily, good teams find a way to get a victory, and that's exactly what the Miami Dolphins did. In Chicago today, 35-32 over the Chicago Bears. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am, of course, Joseph Conlon, and this is, of course, the post-game wrap-up video between the Miami Dolphins and the Chicago Bears. With the Miami Dolphins getting out of Chicago was a 35-32 win. Wasn't pretty at all. The offense bails out the defense once again because, my goodness, this defense is just not there. I don't know what it is. Is it Josh Boyer? He's going to have to answer a lot of questions at press conferences this week, and I'm looking forward to see what answers he's going to give to the media, because he's got a lot of questions about this defense. And I'll tell you what, at the end, pretty big matchup against the Browns offense, which we'll talk about at the end of this video, and more about that next week, though. But he's got a lot of questions to answer this week, man. Justin Fields ran all over the Miami Dolphins defense, and he did whatever he wanted to in this game. He threw 3 touchdown passes, and they made Justin Fields look like the MVP out there today, and he played like an MVP. So kudos to Justin Fields. But for the Miami Dolphins, offense was the reason why we won this game again today. Tua Tagovailoa was fantastic again today. Besides, I would say one play, which was the 4th down to Durham Smythe. Got to make that throw, bro. Get it a little bit higher. Durham Smythe was wide open. You throw that ball higher, more than likely it's a 1st down and the game's over. They're going to score a touchdown. Hey, a win's a win. And in this league, winning is all that matters in the NFL. They beat Pittsburgh by 6. They beat Detroit by 4, and they beat Chicago by 3. Hey, I'll take it, man. The Miami Dolphins are now sitting at a 6-3 record, but still not. They're still not the first wildcard team, because the New York Jets upset the Buffalo Bills at MetLife Stadium today, 20-17. So now you have the Bills at 6-2, the Jets at 6-3, the Dolphins at 6-3, and the New England Patriots at 5-4. Josh Allen, I didn't watch the game, but Josh Allen played really bad. 205 yards, 2 interceptions from what I'm seeing. Just the Bills didn't get the job done against freaking the Jets. And I know the Jets beat us, but for the Bills fans, man, I wonder what excuse Bills fans are going to come up with. But enough about that game. I want to get to our game, the Miami Dolphins against the Chicago Bears. We're going to go over some stats real quick, and then we will get into the game. Tua Tagovailoa stats today. 21 for 30, 302 passing yards, 3 tuds, 3 touchdowns for Tua. He had a completion percentage of 70%, and he had a passer rating of 135.7. I mean, this man is killing it, man. His accuracy is off the charts. He has the highest passer rating in the NFL, and he's just continuing to prove everybody wrong, man. I loved how cocky he was this week at the press conferences when he was saying, what's your biggest improvement? He said, I would say the deep ball, because everybody doubted him with the deep ball, and man, he's been getting it everywhere, man. And I love the middle of the field passes by Tua and that offense, man. That offense is so fun to watch. So fun to watch. I love watching the 2022 Miami Dolphins offense. We also got Jeff Wilson. I mean, Jeff Wilson is awesome, man. Jeff Wilson can catch the ball. He's 100 times better than Chase Edmonds. So glad we traded him away. And Jeff Wilson, he's just an aggressive runner, man. He's an aggressive runner. Got a receiving touchdown as well. And Jeff Wilson played really good today. 9 carries for 51 yards. And he also got 3 catches for 21 yards and a touchdown. Raheem Mostert, 9 carries for 26 yards and a touchdown. Tyreek Hill, 7 catches, 143 yards, and he got a touchdown today as well. Jalen Waddle had 5 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown. So both Hill and Waddle played really good games today. Trent Sherfield, 3 catches for 27 yards. Cedric Wilson finally got the ball on offense for a little bit. 2 catches for 23 yards. And Jeff Wilson, 3 catches, 21 yards. Bradley Chubb on defense. The Dolphins had 1 sack today. That was by Melvin Ingram, and they counted another one for Duke Riley as well. But what was smart about what the Bears did is they ran plays out the opposite side of Bradley Chubb. So Bradley Chubb really wasn't a factor in this game at all for the Miami Dolphins today. The Chicago Bears, Justin Fields, 17 for 28, 123 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Justin Fields rushing, 15 carries, 178 yards, and a 61-yard touchdown run. The Miami Dolphins defense had no answers to Justin Fields' run game. No answers. Brutal to watch, seeing Fields run all over that Dolphins defense. David Montgomery, 14 carries for 36 yards, and Khalil Herbert, 7 carries for 23 yards. Darnell Mooney, 7 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. Cole Kmet, 5 catches, 41 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Chase Claypool was targeted 6 times but had 2 catches for 13 yards. So we are about to get into this game right now between the Miami Dolphins and the Chicago Bears. First drive, the Bears started out with the ball. They go 8 plays, 61 yards, and they end the drive off with a field goal. We'll start at the Chicago 25. Justin Fields gets a 7-yard pass to Cole Kmet. Second down, Justin Fields right up the middle to Dante Pettis for 12 yards. 3rd and 2, Justin Fields throws an incomplete pass, but Keon Crossan is called for pass interference, which is a 28-yard penalty with a spot foul. And 3rd and 10, Justin Fields scrambles to the right for 6 yards, and Cairo Santos makes a 32-yard field goal, which puts the Bears ahead 3-0. First drive for Miami, they go 6 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown. They take 3.5 minutes off the clock. 2nd and 8, Tua to Jalen Waddle for 17 yards. Miami 3rd and 5 at their own 49-yard line. Tua throws it down the middle to Trent Sherfield for 18 yards. 1st and 10. Tua just chucks the ball into the end zone to Tyreek Hill, and pass interference is called on the Chicago Bears in the end zone, which means Miami gets the ball at the 1-yard line, and Raheem Mostert runs it in for a 1-yard touchdown, and Miami takes the 7-3 lead. Bears next drive, they score in the second quarter, but they go 15 plays, 75 yards, and they took over 7.5 minutes off the clock. We'll go 2nd and 10 at the Chicago 35-yard line. Justin Fields throws a bubble screen to Chase Claypool for 12 yards. 3rd and 8, Justin Fields almost got sacked by Jalen Phillips. Phillips should have had that sack right there. Couldn't get the tackle. Justin Fields scrambles for 12 yards and gets the first down. I will admit, Justin Fields is very hard to tackle, and Miami struggles. They struggle a lot against mobile quarterbacks, whether it's Lamar Jackson or today Justin Fields. They struggle. They struggled against Lamar Jackson, and they definitely struggle today against Justin Fields. 1st and 10, Khalil Herbert for 4 yards. Khalil Herbert for 4 yards again on 2nd down, and on 3rd and 2, David Montgomery gets a 3-yard carry. 3rd and 10, Justin Fields wide open to Darnell Mooney. Bad coverage by Kader Kohou right there. And then the next play, the first play of the second quarter, Justin Fields finds Cole Kmet wide open for an 18-yard touchdown, and the Bears take a 7-10 lead. Miami, next drive of the second drive of their game, they go 7 plays, 75 yards, and they score a touchdown. 1st and 15 after an eligible man downfield by Teron Armstead. Tua throws it deep to Tyreek Hill, who gets it for 25 yards. 2nd and 9 at the Dolphins 46. Tua goes deep down the middle to Jalen Waddle for 26 yards. 1st and 10 at the Chicago 28. Tua goes to Cedric Wilson for 14 yards. 2nd and 6 at the Chicago 10. Tua short pass to Jeff Wilson for 4 yards, but a penalty is called on Chicago for roughing the passer. And the next play, Tua finds Tyreek Hill, who was sitting at the corner by himself for a wide open touchdown, and the Dolphins take a 14-10 lead. Tyreek Hill does a moonsault into the end zone, and he got a lot of height on that moonsault, man. Next drive for the Bears. This is literally all scoring here. This was more of a shootout than last week in Detroit. Back-to-back weeks, Miami gets in shootouts with NFC North opponents. Unbelievable. But first play, Justin Fields for 10 yards. First down, Khalil Herbert for 2 yards. Khalil Herbert for 3 yards. And Justin Fields incomplete to Equidamius St. Brown. 4th and 5, the punter for Chicago, Trenton Gill, gets his punt blocked by Jalen Phillips. It's scooped up and scored by Andrew Van Ginkel for 25 yards for a touchdown. That was probably the biggest play of the game, because without that blocked punt for a touchdown, I'm not sure if Miami wins this game in Chicago. So that is a huge play by Jalen Phillips. He might not have gotten a sack or a lot of tackles, a lot of missed tackling by Jalen Phillips, but man, that was a huge, massive blocked punt by Jalen Phillips at a big time in the game. And it's scooped up by Van Ginkel and scored for a touchdown. So kudos to Jalen Phillips for the block, and Van Ginkel being there to scoop up the football and score the touchdown for the Dolphins. Bears' next drive, however, again, they absolutely torched the Dolphins defense. They go 12 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown, taking 6.5 minutes off the clock. We'll go 2nd and 6 at the Chicago 48. Justin Fields up the middle for 7 yards. 3rd and 1. Justin Fields gets 2 yards for a first down. Justin Fields gets it to David Montgomery for 8 yards. 2nd down, David Montgomery up the left for 8 yards. And then on 3rd and 8 at the Dolphins 16. Darnell Mooney lined up inside against Xavier Howard. Gets the better of him. Xavier Howard gets burned by Darnell Mooney, and he gets scored on. It's an 18-yard touchdown by Darnell Mooney, and the Bears score a touchdown. The Dolphins up 21-17. I don't know what's going on with Xavier Howard this year. He's not the same cornerback that he's been the past couple of years. He is not performing like a top 5, top 10 corner that everybody expects him to be. I'm not sure if he's just getting up there in age, too many penalties, too many injuries, but man, he's got a huge setback, and it's killing this secondary, man. A secondary that is banged up still, and he's not helping out at all. He's not having a good year at all. If I would say one of the down points of the season, what's one of the down points of the season so far for the Miami Dolphins, I would 100% include Xavier Howard in there. He's just not performing at all this season, and it's quite sad to see. Next drive, Miami goes 8 plays, 64 yards, just for Jason Sanders to miss a 29-yard field goal. That's just, you can't justify that, man. And this is the way Mike McDaniel ended the half. I want to talk about this too. I didn't forget about this because I really want to talk about this. 1st and 10. Okay, you run the ball to Raheem Mostert. He doesn't get a yard. Whatever. Mike McDaniel has to call a timeout right away. He has 2 timeouts left before halftime. Mike McDaniel sitting on his hands, doesn't call a timeout. We then get called for a penalty on too many men on the field, and it's a 10-second runoff. And his clock management is really bad. I know he's a rookie head coach, but Jesus Christ, man, it is week 9 of the NFL season. That's mistakes you make in September, not November, when you need to win games to make a playoff run. You got to do better. There's no excuses. It's November. He should have that down by now, and he's still, fucking up with time management. And it costed them. It costed them at the end of halftime. So, that's brutal. He's got to fix that. And then 3rd and 15, Tua throws it to Jalen Waddle for 12 yards on his back foot. Jason Sanders comes out for a 29-yard field goal, and he shanks it wide left. Again, there's no justifying. There's no way you can justify that horrendous field goal by Jason Sanders. That's just horrible. It's horrible, and he's not trustworthy anymore. Extra points, he's phenomenal. Didn't miss an extra point today, didn't miss an extra point. I think he's only missed, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he's missed an extra point this season. I could be wrong. He is phenomenal on extra points, which is great, but there's going to be situations where we need Miami, and if they can get 3 points, we need Jason Sanders. And at this point of the season, I lost all trust in Jason Sanders. That man is not the same kicker he was in 2020. He's not a top 5 kicker anymore. And the funny thing is, he's one of the highest paid kickers in the NFL. And he's out there doing shit like he did today. It's just fucking unacceptable, man. He sucks. He sucks. And he lost all trust with not only me, but the fan base as well. First drive of the second half for the Dolphins was one of the best offensive drives I think I saw all season. This was fantastic. So the Miami Dolphins get the ball to start the second half. First play is Tua to Tyreek Hill for 22 yards. Then at the Miami 47-yard line, Jeff Wilson with a great blocking hole by Teron Armstead, and Teron Armstead and Robert Jones, I apologize. Jeff Wilson gets a gain of 28 yards. He then gets a gain of 7 yards, and on 2nd and 3 at the Chicago 18-yard line, Tua throws it to Jalen Waddle for 18 yards and a touchdown, which was a pass that could have, which really looked intercepted, but Jalen Waddle comes back for that ball, gets the touchdown. Tua put it in the right place for Waddle to come back and get it. I thought that was going to be intercepted by Jaquan Brisker, but Jalen Waddle comes back for that pass and gets Miami the touchdown to go up 28-17. But the good start would die down as 3rd and 5 at the Chicago 39-yard line. Justin Fields scrambles for 61 yards and gets a touchdown. And it's just, I don't know. This defense, like I said in the intro, had no answers for Justin Fields today. And thank God the offense played the way they did, because if this was last year, they would have lost. If this was the 2021 Miami Dolphins this week and last week, they would have lost. So, it's just unacceptable. And I don't know what it is. If it's the players or if it's Josh Boyer. I'm giving 80% of it to Josh Boyer. And like I said, he's going to have a lot of questions to answer at the press conference this week, at this week's press conferences. So Justin Fields gets a 61-yard touchdown. 2-point conversion is good, and the Dolphins are up 28-25. Next drive, the Miami Dolphins go 11 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown. 3rd and 2 at the Dolphins 33. Tagovailoa throws a 12-yard pass to Jalen Waddle for a first down. 2nd and 9. Tua goes to Tyreek Hill for 20 yards. 3rd and 7. Goes to Tyreek Hill again for 18 yards and a Dolphins first down. And then 3rd and 7. Tua finds the newly acquired Jeff Wilson for a 10-yard touchdown. And I love this guy. Like I said, he is an aggressive runner, and he can catch the ball, man. Make some plays like he did for the touchdown right there. And we traded a 5th-round pick for him, man. I love that deal so much for this Dolphins team. So the Dolphins are up 35-25. The Dolphins defense gets their first 3-and-out on the game. 2nd and 8. Justin Fields scrambles for 8 yards, but it's called offensive holding on the Bears. 2 incompletions. The Bears punt. The Dolphins get the ball on their own 45-yard line. Tua finds Tyreek Hill for 16 yards. And we're in the 4th quarter at this point. 4th quarter, Dolphins up 35-25. Tua on 3rd and 2. Fumbles the snap. You just got to get the ball cleanly if you're Tua right there. That's him. That's all him. And then 4th and 5. Throws an incomplete pass to Mike Gesicki. At this situation, you're kicking into the wind. Jason Sanders literally missed a 29-yard field goal. I don't know if sending him out there was the best idea, so I had no problem with that. Just bad execution right there. So, bad execution by Tua and Mike Gesicki in the play calling. 4th and 1 at the Chicago 44. Justin Fields gets a QB sneak for 2 yards. 2nd and 10. Justin Fields finds Darnell Mooney for 9 yards. And third and 1. Justin Fields, he could literally walk to the right side, and he would get the first down. But he gets the first down on a 14-yard run. He then finds Cole Kmet for 10 yards. Justin Fields scrambles again for 17 yards. Again, he could walk that, and he would get the first down. And then Justin Fields finds Cole Kmet for a 4-yard touchdown. And the Bears, down 3 once again. The Dolphins are up 35 to 32. Fourth quarter. Dolphins go 7 plays, 68 yards for a turnover on downs. I'm just going to go to the 3rd down play. 3rd down, Jeff Wilson only gets 1 yard. And on 4th and 1 at the Chicago 14, this is when Mike McDaniel shows his true cards. He goes for it, which I don't blame him. With the way the game is going, Jason Sanders missed a 29-yard field goal. If he makes that field goal earlier, I'm sure they send him out there to kick that field goal in the first place. But with him missing a 29-yard field goal, you can't trust your kicker. And the way your defense is playing, the defense was brutal today. You can't trust your defense. So they go for it. Durham Smythe was wide open. Tua had him, but he threw it too low. And I will say that's the only bad play that Tua had today. The only bad play was that pass to Durham Smythe. You got to throw the ball higher. You got to throw the ball a little bit higher, Tua, to get that first down. I mean, if they get the first down, if Tua gets that a little bit higher, the Dolphins score a touchdown, then the game's over. But, he missed them. And it sucks. Luckily, it didn't come back to bite us in the ass. But if the Bears scored to take the lead in the 4th quarter after that play, I would have been kicking myself in the ass. So, bad play by Tua. His only bad play of the game. Bears go 9 plays, 24 yards after their punt. 3rd and 7 at the Chicago 29. Justin Fields scrambles out for 13 yards after he looks to get sacked. But the next play, he is sacked finally by Melvin Ingram. A big sack by him. And on 3rd and 13, Justin Fields goes deep to N'Keal Harry, which is incomplete, thrown out of bounds. Chicago punts. The Miami Dolphins go 3 and out. They give the ball right back to Chicago. Chicago goes 6 plays, 14 yards. And the controversial play on 3rd and 10 at the Chicago 42, Justin Fields throws deep left to Chase Claypool, who's being covered by Keon Crossan, and the ball is dropped, or not really dropped. I thought it was a clean breakup by Keon Crossan and Javon Holland. I went back and I saw that play, and Keon had a little bit of his jersey. That's all I'll say. He wrapped his arm a little bit around Claypool. But how many times have we seen players in the NFL get away with that? For me personally, and I'm already going back and forth with it with Bears players, and they're calling me a fucking idiot and all this shit. To me, that looked like a clean play. Holland came in there and broke it up. To me, it was good coverage by both Keon Crossan and Javon Holland. You're probably thinking I'm a little bit biased, but to me, that was a clean play, and that was a good call by the official for no pass interference. Now, I will say, if I'm not going to show bias, that Eddie Jackson pass interference, that was not pass interference, okay? And if Jalen Waddle doesn't jump for the ball, I think he catches that pass from Tua too. So that pass interference wasn't by Eddie Jackson. That was not pass interference at all. But also at the end of the game, that wasn't pass interference by Keon Crossan, and they didn't call it. So, but the last play, Fields scrambles right, throws it to Equidemius St. Brown, and he drops it with Xavier Howard on the coverage, and the Miami Dolphins get out of Soldier Field 6-3 with a 35-32 victory over the Chicago Bears. And they put me through a heart attack this week, let me tell you. But I'm just happy we were able to get this W in Chicago. Any win is a good win in the NFL. You'll take any win in the NFL. You can't take any game for granted. I was nervous going into this game. I knew how big of a game this was for the Miami Dolphins. Starting out the second half of the season with a W. To me, your run to the playoffs started today. So that was a big W you got in Chicago. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud of this Miami Dolphins team. They can rest. However, there's a lot to clean up on offense and especially on defense. Because next week, we're back at home, which is good. But you're playing Cleveland Browns. You're playing the Cleveland Browns next week, who's 3-5, same record as Chicago going into this week. 3-5 Cleveland Browns, but they have a talented team. They have a really talented team with a mediocre quarterback in Jacoby Brissett. And we all knew how Jacoby Brissett was last year for the Miami Dolphins, but this team is talented around Jacoby Brissett. With the combination of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they got some good receivers too. Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, a good tight end with David Njoku, and they got a top 5 offensive line in the NFL. And they also got some talent on the defense as well, including Myles Garrett. So, hey man, another test. Another good test for the Miami Dolphins next week against the Cleveland Browns, which we'll talk more about going into the week. So I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel with some more Miami Dolphins content coming up for the month of November. We got the Browns next week, and then luckily, we have a bye. We have a much-needed bye at Week 11, which is perfect. A perfect week to have a bye in the middle of November. Then you come back, you play the Houston Texans at home, and then you hit 3 tough games on the road at San Francisco, at the Chargers, and at Buffalo. So lots of Dolphins content coming up on the channel. Comment down below if you're a Dolphins fan, if you're a Bears fan. Leave a comment down below. I would greatly appreciate it. You can talk smack. I really don't care. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok at Conlon_Joseph. And guys, I'm out of here. Have a good one. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy and fins up. I'm out. Peace.